The Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2, in conjunction with Colfax High School, presents Viking pregame. A look at today's Colfax Vikings boys game. And now, Viking pregame.
Good evening and welcome to the NLWN2 studios. Rick Olson here, and tonight the 5-9 Colfax Vikings, who are 3-3 in the Dunn-St. Croix Conference, are returning to conference play as they take on the 3-10 Boyceville Bulldogs, who sport a 2-4 record in the Dunn-St. Croix. The Vikings want to show growth and improvement following their 72-58 hard-fought non-conference loss to the Fountain City Pirates on Monday, while the Bulldogs would like to get back to winning after dropping a 72-47 decision to the Elkmount Mounders also on Monday. Now, coming up in this edition of Viking Pregame, we'll take a look at tonight's matchup between the Boyceville Bulldogs and the Colfax Vikings. Then we'll get Coach Height's perspective on today's game in Coach's Corner. Following that, we'll take a quick look around the Dunn-St. Croix Conference to see where the conference stands. Finally, our broadcast crew will bring you all the play-by-play action of tonight's conference game between the Bulldogs and the Vikings. So it's time to get ready for some exciting high school boys basketball. All that coming up right after this brief timeout. You're tuned to Viking Pregame on NLWN2.
Be right there. Wait. Use the shovel and bucket of water, remember? Drown, stir, drown, feel. Then make sure it's cool.
Where'd you learn that?
SmokeyBear.com. Brushed up on some tips before we left. Don't want to start a wildfire, right?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Welcome back to Viking Pregame as we're getting ready to bring you all the action of tonight's Dunn-St. Croix Conference matchup between the Colfax Vikings, who are sitting at 3-3 in the conference, and the Boyceville Bulldogs, who are currently riding at 2-4 in conference play. The Vikings are coming into this game following a tough battle where they lost 72-58 to the number 8 ranked team in the state, the Fountain City Pirates, on Monday, while the Bulldogs dropped a conference matchup to the Elkmount Mounders 72-47 also on Monday. Now, in that loss to the Pirates, the Vikings took a little while adjusting to the up-tempo style of play that the Pirates brought and fell behind by as much as 12 points right away in the game. Now, once the Vikings made the adjustment, they played even with the Pirates, trading scores until late in the second half when the Vikings narrowed the gap to only 5 points. That's when the Pirates' Cameron Lipinski proved too much for the Vikings, and the Pirates pulled away. Leading the way for the Vikings in that effort was 6-foot senior Aiden Fisher, who scored on 9 field goals, one of which was a three-pointer, as well as shooting 9 for 12 from the free throw line for 30 points.
We approach the 2-minute mark. Three-pointer, Fisher for 3. 14-5 to score now.
He was followed by 6'5" freshman Russell Pukowski, who in the process of scoring his 10 points hit 2 shots from three-point range.
Nichols inside to Pukowski. Pukowski for 3, swishes it in.
Pukowski also had a big night defensively as he accounted for, by our unofficial tally, 7 blocked shots.
Schmidt Connect's going to pass it over to Lisowski, and Russ Pukowski slams that shot away from him.
Now, the Boyceville Bulldogs come into tonight's game with a record of 3 wins and 10 losses overall, and are 2-4 in the Dunn-St. Croix. The Bulldogs are averaging 54 points per game while giving up 56. Now, back on December 12th, the Bulldogs dropped a 70-61 decision to the Vikings in Boyceville. The Bulldogs are coming off a 72-47 conference loss to the Elkmount Mounders on Monday. Now, so far this season, the Bulldogs are being led by 6'3" junior forward John Madison, who's shooting 50% from the floor and 54% from the free throw line while averaging nearly 12 points per game. He's being followed by 5'10" junior Carson Romehild, who's contributing around 9.5 points per game by shooting 38% from the floor as well as 33% from three-point land. Now on the boards, Madison and Romehild are leading the way by pulling down nearly 9 rebounds per game each. Now thus far this season, the Vikings are scoring 51 points per game while giving up 60. Leading the way for the Vikings is Aiden Fisher, who's averaging over 23 points per game. He's followed by Russell Pekowski, who's scoring nearly 13 points per game, as well as Orion Nichols, who's adding nearly 11 points per game. On the boards, Pekowski leads the way, averaging over 10 rebounds per game. He's followed by Fisher and Nichols, who are averaging over 6 and over 5 boards per game, respectively. Now, coming up next, following this timeout, we'll get the coach's perspective as we chat with Viking head coach Nick Height on Coach's Corner. You're tuned to Viking Pregame on NLWN2.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those barbecues you plan in detail for your family? Or your daughter's first costume party? It was out of this world. The same way you plan each detail for those moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make.
Time now to see what the coaches have to say. It's Coach's Corner, where they look at tonight's game from the coach's point of view. And now, Coach's Corner.
Today on Coach's Corner, we're talking with Viking boys head coach Nick Height. And coach, tonight the Vikings will be heading back into Dunn-St. Croix Conference play by taking on the Boyceville Bulldogs. But before we get to that game, last Monday the Vikings battled hard but were defeated by the Cochran Fountain City Pirates 72-58. Your thoughts about that game?
I think it was a great opportunity to play a really good Cochran Fountain City team, ranked 8th in the state. I don't think we played great in the first half. We kind of struggled offensively. 11 of our 28 points came from the free throw line. So, good that we're getting to the free throw line. We just talked about consistency with the boys, being down by 20 in the second half and bringing it back all the way to 4 points. It shows that we're not going to give up. But if we can consistently do those things, where could we be in that aspect? So I think consistency has been a big thing that we've talked about this week, especially heading back into league play.
It seems as though the Vikings, after falling behind by a dozen or more points right away in the game, they figured some things out and played actually pretty even with the Pirates. What do you feel the Vikings learned in that game, and can those lessons be utilized going forward?
I just think showing up to play. When you spot a team 12 points right off the bat, it's really hard to kind of come back and claw it back into the game. We did there in the second half. Obviously, Lipinski got into some foul trouble and wasn't on the floor as much there in the second half, which made us, helped us with our run. So I think for us, it's just, how are we going to start off? It's kind of been one thing this season where it's like, if we don't play a good first half, we play a great second half. If we play a great first half, our second half isn't there. So again, putting that 36 minutes together on the offensive and defensive end is something that we need to get to.
And maybe the Vikings need to do is figure out a way to, rather than showing they never quit, make the other team show that they never quit.
Would be nice. That would be very nice.
Play from ahead. In that game, the Pirates got off 20 more shots than the Vikings, and many of those were as a result of the Vikings' 19 turnovers. What can the Vikings do to better protect the ball?
We need to. We need to protect the ball. We're second to last right now in turnovers in the league, and we still score the most points in the league, which is crazy. So, we gave up 29 points off of turnovers to our 4. So that's a huge difference when you're giving up 25 points it's not a recipe for success. I think just playing off of 2 feet, just being patient within our stuff. I think we're rushed a lot of the times, and just making the easy play. We preach and practice all the time of playing off of 2 feet. We try to do a lot of trapping stuff in practice just so the game slows down for them when we get to gameplay. So, and their athleticism and length, I think gave us some issues. But again, too, a lot of our turnovers come when we're trying to drive the ball. One pass, drive the ball. I think by us moving the ball around and being patient, that's going to open up driving lanes for us.
Now, tonight the Vikings are going to take on the Boyceville Bulldogs. Now, that's a team that the Vikings defeated 70-61 back in December. What can you tell us about the Bulldogs?
Physical. They're going to be physical.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of football guys that are on the hardwood. So I think for us, if we can rebound tonight, I like our chances. I went back and watched that game from December. Obviously that was our 4th game of the season, and it was pretty ugly. So I think for us, I think we've improved a lot. I've also watched a couple other games by Boyceville. They've also improved a lot too. So I think it'll be a fun matchup. I think offensively, we got down 22-12 in that first half and made a run there to end the first half to take the lead. I think for us, it's going to be really important to start out fast. That's something that we haven't necessarily done much this year, but we need to get off to a good start.
Now, that game back in December was the first of a string of really physical games that the Vikings had to play. And the Vikings have learned some things from that and have developed into a more physical team, and that ought to help tonight.
Yeah, I agree. I think, again, our non-conference schedule has really helped us grow as a team. Let's remember, too, you didn't have Logan the first time that we played either. So that's a little bit different of a look, I think, for them. They don't have as much size as probably we've seen so far. So I think that's a benefit for us. It wouldn't surprise me if Madison doesn't really guard Theo. That's kind of what they did in the second half there. So I think he's going to be underneath the rim just trying to protect drives and things like that. So I think we got a good, solid game plan coming in for the things that they want to do.
Now, Coach, as we enter into the final month of the season, can you reflect a little bit on the progress the Vikings have made so far this year, and what so far has been the biggest area of improvement?
Well, I think offensively we're starting to get to a point where we're not necessarily thinking before we react. We're starting to get more into the ebbs and flows. I think defensively, when we're set, I think we are really tough to score on. I would like to see our rebounding get a little bit better. Still, we have bad habits of either watching the ball go up or just running right to the rim. So that's something that we need to continue to work on. But I'm proud of our guys. I think our shooting ability has gone way up. I think we can really spread the floor. And I like our success that we've had. We've played a brutal schedule, but I think we've been learning from that and growing from that. I don't think the kids really get down about a loss. It's kind of just next game. And I think that's really important when you kind of have a brutal schedule like we have.
I remember an old coach once said to me when it came to the rebounding, he said, if you want to watch the ball go towards the hoop, buy a ticket. Otherwise, anticipate where that ball is going to be coming down and get your butt over there.
Yeah, absolutely. We talked about that a lot in practice this week. Kind of, we got a lot of eyes over on the bench that can watch the game. We got 5 guys on the floor who just can't do that. So I think we're learning. Obviously kind of a new system to start the season. It's kind of been nice to see the growth here. 2.5, almost 3 months in. So it's been fun to see them grow as a team and as individuals as well.
Well, Coach Height, good luck on tonight's game. Hopefully the Vikings can find a way to keep the pressure on the top of the conference.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Rick.
You've been listening to Coach's Corner, with a look at tonight's game from the coach's point of view. This has been a presentation of the Northern Light Webcasting Network.
My dad was a farmer. The guy was bigger than life. He wasn't someone that liked to show his emotion or liked to show when he was struggling, but we all struggle. I want to show emotion to my kids. It's something that brings me so much joy, and I want them to see me working through things. Allow your kids to know that it's okay to struggle, that even dad doesn't know the answer sometimes, but we're gonna figure it out together.
Welcome back to Viking Pregame. The Dunn-St. Croix Conference has seen limited action so far this week. Some teams stepped out of conference play. In conference action on Monday, the Elk Mound Mounders defeated the Boyceville Bulldogs 72-47. Then on Tuesday, the Spring Valley Cardinals tangled with the Elmwood Plum City Wolves, with the Cardinals coming out on top 69-34. On Monday, 3 Dunn-St. Croix teams stepped out of conference play. That included the Vikings dropping a 72-58 loss to Cochran Fountain City. The Mondovi Buffaloes picked up their second win of the season with a 94-67 victory over the Olivas Drum Cardinals. And it was the Osseo Fairchild Thunder squeaking past the Spring Valley Cardinals 57-56. On Tuesday, it was the Stanley Boyd Orioles hosting the Durand, Arkansas Panthers, with the Panthers coming out on top 67-53. While the Bloomer Blackhawks traveled to Mondovi to face the Buffaloes, and the Blackhawks emerged victorious 75-43. Now heading into tonight's action, the Dunn-St. Croix standings are as follows. Leading the way in the conference are the 6-1 Spring Valley Cardinals. Second place sees a tie between the Durand, Arkansas Panthers and the Elk Mound Mounders, with both teams posting 5-1 records and 1 half game out of first. While fourth place sees a tie between the Vikings and the Glenwood City Hilltoppers, who are each only 2.5 games off the pace at 3-3. Then in sixth place, we find the 2-3 Boyceville Bulldogs, who are 3.5 games out. Seventh place belongs to the Elmwood Plum City Wolves, who are sitting at 1-6, while eighth place belongs to the 0-6 Mondovi Buffaloes. Now tonight, the Dunn-St. Croix Conference has a full slate of action, including the Boyceville Bulldogs visiting the Colfax Vikings, while the Spring Valley Cardinals will host the Glenwood City Hilltoppers. It will be the Elmwood Plum City Wolves journeying to Mondovi to face the Buffaloes, and the Durand, Arkansas Panthers will battle it out with the Elk Mound Mounders in Elk Mound. Now, in thinking about tonight's matchup, I'm reminded of the old adage that no loss is truly a loss if something of value is still learned. Now, tonight's game with the Bulldogs will give the Vikings the opportunity to prove that adage correct. They can take the high-tempo lessons learned in the defeat on Monday night and use them to gain a victory tonight. So the stage is set for some exciting high school boys basketball, with the Colfax Vikings facing the Boyceville Bulldogs. Now in just a moment, we'll send it out to Colfax High School, where our broadcast crew is ready to bring you all the action of today's boys game. That's all coming up next. You've been tuned to Viking Pregame on NLWN2.
My name's Stacy, I'm 57, and I was adopted in 2020. One teen can come in and make you look at life in a whole different way.
You know, he's my father, so I look up to him a lot. If I can be 10% of the man he is, I'll be a happy person for sure.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org.
You've been tuned to Viking Pregame with a look at today's Colfax Viking Boys game. This has been a presentation of the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2. Stay tuned, coming up next is live Colfax Viking basketball. It happens to everyone eventually, your computer goes on the fritz. Fear not, Sladen's Technology Services can help. When your computer decides to not cooperate, it can be very frustrating. Let Sladen's Technology Services keep you from wanting to drive your computer right off a cliff. Sladen's Technology Services supports business of all sizes. They offer assistance with managed anti-malware, encrypted email, fast tech support, data backup, and recovery, and more. Call Sladen's Technology Services at 715-864-2833 and get the IT help you desire. Sladen's Technology Services is the official IT service for the Northern Light Webcasting Network.
Colfax Viking Boys Basketball is on the air.
Takes it to the top of the key, puts up the shot, he hit it! Fisher hits
The Northern Light Webcasting Network, along with NLWN2, is excited to bring you Colfax High School Boys Basketball.
Around, feeds it underneath Orion Nichols, and he put it up and in.
Yeah, great play.
Vikings back on top.
Join us as we follow the Vikings while they battle their way through the Dunn-St. Croix Conference.
And they get it to Charbonneau, back to Larson. Three-pointer, he hit it! Trey Larson hit the three.
And now out to the gym for today's Colfax Viking basketball.
Good evening. Welcome to Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on NLWN 2. The Boyceville Bulldogs are here for the second round of conference play. The Vikings defeated the Bulldogs 70-61 in Boyceville on December 12th. And in just a bit here, we will have the introduction of the starting lineups.
Colfax High School for tonight's Dunn-St. Croix boys basketball matchup between the Boyceville Bulldogs and your Colfax Vikings. Introducing the starters for the Bulldogs. Number 1, a junior, Carson Rohill. Number 3, a freshman, Tegan Leiden. Number 11, a junior, Landon Leslie. Number 20, a junior, Owen Rydell. And number 25, a junior, Jonathan Madison. The Bulldogs are led by head coach Colby Metza. And now the starting lineup for your Colfax Vikings. Back guard, 5'6" senior, number 2, Theo Upton. Back guard, 6' senior, number 4, Aiden Fisher. Back guard, 5'11" junior, number 10, Ryan Nichols. Back guard, 5'10" junior, number 12, Charlie Charbonneau. And at 4, 6'5" freshman, number 9. Number 30, Russell Wilkowski. The Vikings are led by head coach Nick Height. Tonight, Colfax High School senior Nate Edwards would like to remind coaches, players, and fans what it means to be a good sport.
At Colfax High School, sportsmanship is an expectation, so please let the players play, let the coaches coach, let the officials officiate, and let the spectators be positive. Thank you, fans, players, and coaches for letting your sportsmanship show. Have fun watching this play.
We are on the balcony at Colfax across from the scorer's table. Vikings in home white with red numerals and trim, and Boyceville in road black, white numbers. And here we go. Ball goes up. It's tipped back from Russell Polkowski. Back to Charlie Charbonneau to start things out. Theo Hubney is going to bounce it back to Charbonneau. Up on top to Polkowski. He'll drive in, up from the lane, short, trying to get the rebound. Pulled out of there by John Madison of Boyceville. Down to Carson Remheld outside the arch. Ends up back on the other side to Owen Riddell. Riddell flips it back to Carson Remhild. He's stopped. Now they'll go down the left side. Riddell back outside the arch to Landon Leslie, and he sinks the three-pointer. Boyceville scores first, 3-0. Hubney fires it off to Fisher. Bounce pass down underneath to Polkowski. Polkowski goes up and draws a foul. And Polkowski's going to shoot 2.
That foul was on Madison.
First one up and in. 3-1 Boyceville as we approach 17 minutes remaining. Colfax tied for fourth in the Dunn-St. Croix with a 3-3 record. With Glenwood City, second free throw missed. Boyceville bring it back up the floor. Carson Remhild. Remhild up to Riddell, and he tries a three-pointer. Bounces off the back iron. Unfortunately, that's going to go off Aiden Fisher, so Boyceville will keep it on their end. Underneath the basket. Gets it into the far corner to Carson Remhild. Misses the three-pointer, but there with the rebound, Landon Leslie. And he will get it back to Remhild. Bulldogs to set it up again. Colfax in a man-to-man. And down underneath, six-footer goes up by Landon Leslie, and he is fouled on the way up. That's going to go against Theo Hovde, I believe, and that is the first foul of the game for Colfax. On the free throw line is John Madison. He'll shoot two. That one bounces off the iron and no good. The next one goes in, and it is a 4-1 lead for the Boyceville Bulldogs. 16:20 left to go here in the first half. Fisher and Hovde on the left wing, passing it back and forth. Down on the baseline now, inside to Russell Polkowski. He's near the rainbow, up to Nichols, inside to Hovde, fall away jumper missed, rebounded by Remhild. Remhild has it stolen away by Hovde, ends up in the hands of Polkowski, and Hovde will get it back to bring it back up for the Vikings. Give and go to Nichols. Nichols up and in with Colfax's second, or actually first bucket. It is 4-3, Bulldogs with the lead. Pass goes out in the far corner to John Madison. It comes back to Landon Leslie. Down underneath to John Madison. Madison goes up, reload. That doesn't go. Rebound by Russell Polkowski. Hovde fires it up the floor to Fisher. Back to Hovde. Now Nichols takes the three-point shot. Rolls off, no good. Rebounded by Owen Riddell. Tegan Lydon throwing it back and forth with Landon Leslie from the top of the key. Too hard, and that one goes up again, and coming up with it is Fisher. Inside 15 minutes to go first half. Boyceville 4, Colfax 3. In the conference rematch between these two teams. Driving in for a layup is Aiden Fisher, and the Vikings take their first lead of the game, 5-4. Driving in, Owen Riddell. Outside to John Madison. He puts it in from the lane. Boyceville back on top. Hovde across the C in the center of the gym. Driving in, Nichols. Nichols waits, goes up off the glass, no good, and trying to reload Charbonneau. That one's missed, and Tegan Lydon comes up with the ball for Boyceville. Fires down underneath to John Madison. It rolls back on the top. Polkowski gets a hand on it, and it is going to the Bulldogs. Flying around down there, not going in. Approaching 14 minutes left. First half, 6-5 Boyceville. Hovde down to Nichols. Nichols with three guys on him goes up and over and makes the bucket. 7-6 Colfax. Driving in, Lydon, and we'll have a foul underneath as he goes up, and that is going to go against Theo Hovde. That's the second foul for number 2.
And the second foul on the Vikings.
And this one not in the act of shooting, so inbounds throw goes to Carson Remhild. Rydell gives it back to Remhild. Back to Rydell. Outside near corner, Madison, three-pointer, good. 9-7 Boyceville. Driving in, Hovde. Hovde attempting the layup, and he is fouled on the way in. That foul's going to go against Odin Riddell. That's his first and Boyceville's second. Each team has 2 fouls. And Theo Hovde going to try to tie this ball game back up. Gets it halfway there. His first point of the night, and it's 9-8 Boyceville. Second one doesn't go in. It's rebounded by Boyceville's John Madison. Leslie back over to Riddell for 3. 12-8 Boyceville. Hovde fires over to Charbonneau. Charbonneau. Shot missed, rebounded by Carson Remhild. Remhild fires off to the left to Riddell. Further in the corner to Leslie. Back out to Madison. He'll hand the ball back to Leslie to set things up. Fisher out guarding him. Charbonneau on Tegan Leiden. And ball goes out of bounds off Hovde. Boyceville will keep it on their end. 12-17 left first half, 12-8 Boyceville leading the Colfax Viking boys.
Now there's the long and the short of it on that substitution. Logan Schwartz came in, tallest guy on the floor, came in for the shortest guy on the floor.
Driving in, Carson Remhild. And Boyceville stretches their lead to 6. Up the floor, Charbonneau, and now a three-point attempt. Nichols missed, and it's rebounded by Boyceville's Landon Leslie. Stolen away by the Vikings. Coming up with it is Fisher. Fisher and Nichols, and the basket is good for the Vikings. Aiden Fisher with the bucket and an attempt for a three-point play. And that free throw is missed, and John Madison comes up with it. Directing traffic is Owen Riddell. Carson Remhild. Then to Leslie. Top of the key. Out to Riddell. Madison looks at one, gives it back to Leslie. Leslie three-pointer missed, and it's rebounded by Aiden Fisher. And Russell Polkowski's three-point shot missed, rebounded by Owen Riddell. Riddell on the right wing goes out to Madison. And timeout called for Boyceville. 10:48 to go, first half, 14-10. Vikings lead, or Boyceville leads. You're watching Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on NLWN 2.
January is Financial Wellness Month. Weight loss and physical fitness are common New Year's resolutions, but your finances could probably stand to be leaner as well. Dairy State Bank will post tips all month on Facebook and Twitter to help you get your finances in shape. You can also access a library of information anytime in our online education center. Visit DairyStateBank.com and click on the Education Center under the Resources tab. Dairy State Bank, banking on relationships. Member FDIC.
Welcome back, 14-10. Boyceville leading Colfax. Dunn-St. Croix rematch from December. Inbounds throw goes into John Madison. Madison to Leslie, back to Madison. And Bulldogs going to be patient here. Remhild driving the right side of the lane, goes up and puts it in off the glass. 16-10, Boyceville lead. 10:22 left to go. First half. Into Nichols. Nichols drives up and in. 16-12. Vikings trail by 4.
That's 6 points for Orion Nichols tonight.
And the air ball goes right into the hands of Russell Polkowski. Charbonneau, left side of the lane, fires off to Russell. Russell drive it in, and they are, it looks like they had a foul on the way in.
Yeah, the foul was on the floor before he went up for the shot.
And that was on Owen Riddell. That's his second. That is the fourth foul of the half for Boyceville. It's going underneath the Colfax basket. Hubney gets it in the corner, fires it back to Nichols. Then Fisher comes to get it, goes in from the corner, drives up, it's shots short, and it's rebounded by Remhild. Remhild out to Riddell, three-pointer, bounces out, rebounded by Fisher. Fisher tries to get it to Polkowski. Polkowski trying to steal it back from Owen Riddell.
It almost looked like a square dance and swing your partner out there. Hooking elbows and spinning around.
And now it looks like we're going to have a substitution. Well, coming up for the Bulldogs, the officials are talking. And they wave him in. That's Eli Weber, a 6-foot freshman forward. And he is going to give Owen Riddell a break. 9.5 minutes to go, first half. Boyceville 16, Colfax 12. Out to Fisher. Fisher down on the baseline to Logan Schwartz. Out to Nichols, and Nichols is fouled on the way in. That foul is going to be charged to Eli Weber. Pick that up really quick. That's his first and the sixth foul for the Bulldogs. So Colfax will be in the bonus on the next Boyceville foul. Pass goes out on top to Fisher, and Fisher took a step.
Yeah, a little step just a little bit before he put the ball to the floor. Did a little ball fake as he took that step, and oops.
Leslie holding it high. Out to John Madison. To Leiden. He's being guarded by Fisher. Fires into Remhild. Back out in the near corner. Three-pointer, Landon Leslie.
That's 6 points for Leslie on a pair of threes.
19-12, Boyceville. Hovney out to Nichols, three-pointer miss, ball tipped around, coming up with it, Polkowski. He'll try the three, that bounces out, tipped around, ball still loose, Boyceville comes up with it. Leiden to Madison, or check that, Weber, and he misses it.
They're going to say it went off of Nichols in the process.
Remhild fires into the far corner. Pass tapped away, going out to get it is Leslie. Back to Remhild. Remhild down underneath to John Madison. Madison turnaround jumper, puts it in from way off the top of the backboard. 21-12 Boyceville. 8:12 to go, first half. Fisher from the corner to Polkowski for three. Doesn't go, and Logan Schwartz with a holding foul on John Madison.
That was more of a tackling foul.
Yeah. Eight minutes left, first half. Vikings trail by 9. Madison holding it high, goes back to Weber. Weber into Leslie as Boyceville moving around down inside. Near corner goes to Eli Weber, three-pointer missed. And the ball's tapped out. It goes to Tegan Leiden. And rebounded by Colfax. Hovde will bring it up the floor. Hovde give and go to Fisher. Fisher down along the right side, off the glass, doesn't go. Rebounded by Carson Remhild.
Right now, Boyceville's controlling the rebounds and a lot of one and dones for the Vikings.
Polkowski driving in, going up off the glass, too hard. And he is fouled on the way in. And that is going to be 2 free throws for Russell Polkowski. That foul is going to be the second on John Madison of the Boyceville Bulldogs. 7:10 left first half, 21-12. Boyceville now 21-13. Boyceville's 2-4 in the Dunn-St. Croix. They're in 6th place with a 3-10 mark. So far having a good showing tonight as Russell Polkowski puts in the second free throw. And it is 21-14 and a timeout. 7:10 to go first half. You're watching Colfax Viking Basketball on NLWN 2.
When you have that craving for a home-cooked meal the way Mom used to make it, rest assured, you can still get that meal by going to Mom's Restaurant and Pub in Colfax. Mom's is open daily, serving breakfast and lunch, and don't forget dinner on Friday nights with Mom's famous fish fry. The coffee is always hot, the breakfast is always delicious, and lunch will put a smile on your face and in your stomach. 225 Bremer Avenue, Colfax. Call 715-962-4617. That's Mom's Restaurant and Pub.
To get your lawn or garden to perform and attracting what you want, you first need to know what your soil is working with. That's where Midwest Environmental Consultants can help. Their soil testing service can give you a complete rundown on your soil's nutrition and health. They test for nitrogen levels, phosphorus, potash, micronutrients, minerals, pH, and organic matter. Let Midwest Environmental Consultants put you in control of your soil's health. Call Midwest Environmental Consultants at 608-468-2067. That's Midwest Environmental Consultants, serving Western Wisconsin.
Boyceville 21, Colfax 14. Bulldogs with the ball. Colfax in the bonus. Leiden brings it up the floor for Boyceville. Leiden fires it back to Remhild. He reins it in, back to Leiden. And we're going to have a foul called on Aiden Fisher of the Vikings. And Fisher getting an explanation on the call as he seemed a bit surprised by it. Remhild. And it looks like
offensive foul.
Yeah, John Madison away from the ball, it looked like.
3.
And that's pretty quick time to pick up 3. 6:50 to go in the first.
He's going to take a seat on the bench, and that's a big loss for the Bulldogs.
Hovde fires to Fisher down inside to Nichols, back to Fisher for 3. 21-17 Boyceville. Outside, the ball goes back to Leslie. Ball tipped away, and ball goes out of bounds. It is stopped by Nick Height of the Vikings.
Nice catch by Coach Height there.
Yeah, he did.
He's got good hands.
Inside Nichols. Nichols and Fisher on the near side. Nichols stops, goes up from 6, good! 2-point lead for Boyceville, 21-19. Colfax catching up. And just as I say that, Tegan Leiden puts in a 10-footer. And the Bulldogs go back up by 4. Fisher traveled on his way in. It looks like. No, oh, they're going to call an offensive foul. That is the second foul on Aiden Fisher. Tegan Leiden back to Leslie. To Blaine Severson now in the ball game for the Bulldogs. Back to Leiden over on the right side. Landon Leslie, three-pointer. Goes off the rim, and Leslie gets his own rebound on the other side. A pass into the far corner to Eli Weber, and he hits the three-pointer. 26-19 Boyceville as we approach 5 minutes left in the first half. And Nichols goes up, shot is short, rebounded by Tegan Leiden. Leiden to Remhild. That shot missed, nice rebound by Nichols. Up the floor to an open Aiden Fisher, he goes up. Layup is short, Polkowski's reload doesn't go. The ball is just not going in. Over to Remhild, and now from the near corner, Boyceville over the top to Orion Nichols. Nichols is going to be fouled by Blaine Severson, 6'1" senior forward. Nichols to shoot 1 and 1. First one is good. Join us tomorrow on NLWN TV as we bring you Colfax Viking girls basketball. The Vikings play host to the Elk Mound Mounders in a critical Dunn-St. Croix Conference matchup. Second free throw good. Coverage begins on NLWN TV with Viking pregame at 6:40, followed by live play-by-play.
That's 10 points for Orion Nichols. It's good to see him scoring. He's been struggling the last couple of games, but he's come alive tonight.
Tegan Leiden near half court, being guarded closely by Trey Larson. Now in the middle to Landon Leslie, back over to Remhild. Remhild to Leiden. Leiden up inside the free throw line, missed, rebounded by Theo Hovde. Hovde up the floor, give and go to Nichols. Nichols up off the glass, good. Boyceville 26, Colfax 23, 12 points for Nichols. And inside, a reverse layup by Eli Weber. 28-23, Boyceville.
Got to give the Bulldogs credit for that one. That was a pretty looking play.
Leiden, or check that, Larson to Nichols, and Larson puts it up. Ball short's going to go off of Hovde out of bounds. Boyceville will get possession back. And across the timeline for Boyceville, Carson Remhild. Remhild out to Leiden, back to Weber. Blaine Severson looks at a three, missed, rebounded by Nichols. Back to the Vikings. Hovde to Schwartz. Back to Hovde. Top of the key, Nichols looks at one. He's going to go up inside. He makes the layup and is fouled. That is the 10th foul for the Bulldogs. That is the first foul charged to Landon Leslie. Shot missed. Rebounded by Remhild. 3-point ball game. Boyceville 28, Colfax 25. 2.5 minutes left first half. Up top, Weber. Down inside to Severson. And going up with it, Remhild. And he is fouled on the play. That is going to go against Russell Polkowski. That's his first foul. The 6th for Colfax. That's going to put Carson Remhild on the free throw line. Russell Polkowski is our Viking profile player at halftime, so we invite you to stay tuned for that. 2:21 left first half, 29-25. Jay Fall, Rick Olson, Chris Olson with you, and the 30th point goes in for Boyceville and a timeout on the floor. Boyceville 30, Colfax 25. You're listening to Viking Boys Basketball on NLWN TV.
Anderson Bridges, located in Colfax, Wisconsin, has been manufacturing prefabricated steel truss bridges since 1989. With hundreds of bridges supplied nationwide, we suspect you've crossed our path. It may have been on a pedestrian or bicycle bridge, or how about a snowmobile, ATV, or golf course bridge? Anderson Bridges is likely to have manufactured it. Founded in 1989, Anderson Bridges has been a family-owned company since its beginning and are proud to support the Colfax Vikings.
Welcome back to Colfax. Boyceville 30, Colfax 25. We have 2:21 remaining in the first half. Boys are back in action Tuesday night. They will host the Spring Valley Cardinals here. Second go around with them. Driving in. It is Hovde. Makes the basket and is fouled by Eli Weber. And the free throw, no good. Rebounded by Blaine Severson. Boyceville bringing it up. Remhild to Leiden. Fires it back in the corner to Remhild. Hovde there. Defending him tough. Goes back to Severson. Down inside. They try to get it too far underneath. Knocked out of bounds by Hovde. Boyceville will keep it on their end. 1:47 left first half. Remhild into Leslie. Ball tapped away by Ryan Nichols, going for the layup. Good. 30-29, Vikings pulled within one. Down inside, Leslie. Leslie to Leiden. Leiden between the circles, Trey Larson guarding him. Leiden off on the right side to Severson. Severson driving in. Ball goes in the lane to Eli Weber, and he puts in the bucket. 32-29 Boyceville, a minute left in the first half. Nichols to Larson, bounces it in to Schwartz. Miss, trying to reload, that doesn't go in, and Remhild comes up with the ball for the Bulldogs. 45 seconds left, first half. Remhild along the timeline on Hovde. Out to Weber. Back to Remhild. Remhild, Weber for three, drains it. 35-29 Boyceville. And a three, Trey Larson. 8 seconds left. Boyceville up by three. Remhild for three, Missed. Reload by Leslie, no good. And our halftime score, the Colfax Vikings trail the Boyceville Bulldogs by a score of 35-32. Stay tuned now for Viking halftime. That's coming your way next on NLWN 2.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Time now for Viking Halftime, with today's Viking profile and other halftime entertainment. That's coming up right after this.
Time now for Viking Profile, where we take a closer look at one of the Colfax Viking players. And now, Viking Profile.
Today on Viking Profile, we're going to get to know Russell Pukowski, who is a freshman here at Colfax High School. Russell, we know that you play basketball, but are you involved in any other activities here at school?
No, not really, just basketball.
When did you start playing basketball? And what kind of experience have you had?
I think I started around the 3rd grade, and it's been really nice.
Okay. And what's the most important thing that you've learned playing basketball?
Teamwork, probably.
Okay, and how do you get to demonstrate that?
Just making good passes, playing with the team, getting into the right place.
And so when you're not playing basketball or you're not here at school, what are some other things that keep you interested or occupied?
Guitar, play video games.
Okay. All right, here's a few rapid fire questions for you. Pie, ice cream, cake, or cookies?
Ice cream.
And which kind?
Cookies and cream.
All right, very good. Hot dog, burger, or brats?
Burger.
What do you want on that burger?
Ketchup, cheese, pickles.
Okay. All right. If you could have a superpower, what would that be and why?
The ability to make every shot.
There you go. All right. If you had that ability to nail every shot, you have to have a superhero name to go with that. So what would it be?
Probably Russell the Muscle.
Russell the Muscle. Okay, I like that one. All right. Favorite NBA team?
Bucks.
And favorite collegiate team?
Wisconsin Badgers.
All right. Now, if you could sit down and pick the brain of anybody in sports history, who might that be? Regardless of what team they played for, what sport they were in, or whatever, whether they're alive now or not.
Probably Blake Johnson.
And why?
I just want to know what's going on here sometimes.
Okay. I suspect you're not the only one. All right, we're talking with Russell Pukowski here on Viking Profile. And what are your plans for after high school?
Probably try to make it to college for basketball, but if I don't, find some other way to make it.
So how about a shout out to your family and friends that come to watch?
Hi, Mom.
All right. When people watch Viking games, what number are you going to be wearing, and where are we going to find you on the floor?
I'm going to be wearing number 30 and probably dunking the ball or getting rebounds.
All right, we want to thank Russell Pukowski for joining us in Viking Profile. Coming up next, more Viking Halftime.
You've been listening to Viking Profile. This has been a presentation of the Northern Light Webcasting Network.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here.
Wait.
What?
I can't drive.
Why?
My.
Oh.
That many kids in my son's school even do it.
He makes fun of his friend who vapes.
He would never try it.
She's into soccer.
She's on the honor roll.
She's just not the type.
No way.
No way.
No way.
No way, my kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping. Maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
You've been tuned to Viking Halftime. Stay tuned. Coming up is second half action of today's game on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2.
Elmo's daddy taught him that when he has a big feeling like being frustrated, humming a song can help you feel better. We all have big feelings, and we are all here for one another.
Welcome back to Colfax. The Boyceville Bulldogs lead 35-32 at the half. Rick, let's take a look at the numbers.
Yeah, as we do that, Eli Weber is leading the way for the Boyceville Bulldogs. He's got 10 points on a pair of three-pointers and a pair of regular field goals. John Madison got into a little bit of foul trouble, but not before he got 8 points. Carson Romehild and Landon Leslie each have 6. Blaine Seaver, or check that, Owen Rydell has 3, and Tegan Leiden has 2 points. For the Vikings, leading the way has been a red-hot Orion Nichols with 16 points. He's followed by Aiden Fisher, who has 7. Then we have 3 players with 3 points each. That's Theo Hovde, Trey Larson, and Russell Pakowski, and all of his are coming from the free throw line. And so we have 35-32 is our halftime score.
So the boys will be back in action on Tuesday night. They will be hosting the Spring Valley Cardinals in a Dunn-St. Croix Conference game. This will be part of part 2 of a girls then boys doubleheader, and will follow the Viking girls taking on the Elmwood Plum City Wolves.
Yeah, that really is a mouthful, isn't it? That's okay. A little later on this year, we have one that's the other way around, where it's the boys playing first. One of the things I noticed in that first half, Jay, is that one of the things Boyceville did is they shut down Russell Pekowski from the floor. His 3 points all came from the charity strike, but he was held scoreless shooting from the floor, and that's what's kind of holding the Vikings back a little bit.
So the Vikings trail by 3, looking to get back into this one here. We're going the other way, so the Vikings will be defending the basket to our right. And that's where the Bulldogs are headed. That's Carson Remhild. Remhild goes up, and the shot blocked by Pekowski. Hovde fires it to Fisher. Down inside Pekowski, good with a layup on the right side. 17.5 minutes to go, second half. Bulldogs now only lead by 1. Remhild out in the far corner to Leiden. Leiden out to Rydell, and a basket goes in for the Bulldogs, and it is 38-34. Nichols up. Bounces out, rebounded by John Madison. Fires up the floor to Remhild. Remhild dishes it inside to Madison. His shot missed. Rebounded by Aiden Fisher. He gets it to Theo Hovde. Hovde layup good. 38-36.
That's 5 points for Hovde tonight.
Down along the near side, Leslie. Leslie to Leiden. And we're going to have a foul called inside. That's going to go against Ryan Nichols. That is the first foul of the half for anybody, and his first of the game. Ball goes into Remhild. Rydell, three-pointer, bounces off big, tipped around. Pekowski ends up with a tip. Quickly up the floor to Nichols. Nichols fires underneath, wide open, Charbonneau. And we're tied at 38. Down in the corner, Riddell, or halfway down anyway, into Leiden, and we're going to have a foul. That's going to be called on Charlie Charbonneau. That was before the shot, so the Bulldogs will throw it in and underneath their own basket. We're approaching 16 minutes left in the second half, and we're tied at 38. Remhild out on the far side, loops around, Hovde guarding him. He'll give it to Landon Leslie. To Rydell, back inside to Madison. Madison turns, goes up over to Pekowski, and nice hands in his face there. Charbonneau rebounds to Nichols. Nichols for three. Catches the front iron. No. Rebounded by Tegan Leiden of the Bulldogs. Up the floor to Carson Remhild. Three-pointer miss. Reload or rebound Leslie. Madison puts it up. Now it goes back to Leiden. And coming up with the ball, Ryan Nichols. Tied at 38, 15-15 left, second half. Hovde drives the right side of the lane, goes up, and is fouled by Owen Rydell. First Boyceville foul of the second half, and Theo Hovde going to the line for two.
And more importantly, that's the fourth foul on Rydell.
And Hovde puts the Vikings back in the lead for the first time in a while. 39-38. Second free throw good. Colfax up by a bucket, 40-38. 7 points for Hovde so far.
That equals his season high.
Madison to Leiden. Leiden waiting for somebody to break free. He'll give it to Leslie right off to his left. To Remhild. Remhild to Weber. Weber being guarded by Nichols. Weber out to Leslie. Leslie guarded by Fisher, steals the ball away. Aiden Fisher goes down, puts it up on the baseline, good. Vikings go up by 4, 42-38. 9 points for him. For Fisher, back over to Eli Weber. Shot missed. Going for the ball, Nichols in a scurry or a scuffle on the floor. And we're going to have the third foul on Aiden Fisher. Colfax has 3 fouls in this half. There's 1 in the half for Boyceville. Tegan Leiden to throw it in, gets it in the corner to Carson Remhild. Out to Landon Leslie. Remhild holding it on the side, being guarded by Hovde. Back out to Weber. And 3-point ball bounces off big for Leiden. Loose ball to Carson Remhild.
That's going to be a foul on Hovde.
That's his third.
Colfax fans are getting a little restless.
Yep. Inside it goes to John Madison. Madison out to Nichols steals it. And Hovde coming up the floor. Hovde scoops it to Charbonneau, back to Fisher. Fisher outside, Charbonneau, 3! 45-38, Colfax. And it looks like the Vikings in the second half here kind of turning the tables on the Bulldogs with the three-pointers. Remhild backs it off from halfway down. He'll fire it over to Leslie. Leslie along the free throw line, pops it up and in from the corner. 45-40, Boyceville trails Colfax by 5. Fisher into Polkowski, and then driving inside is Charbonneau. 7 points for him so far.
And all in the second half.
And Boyceville wants a timeout. 12:34 to go, second half. Colfax 47, Boyceville 40. You're watching Viking Boys Basketball on NLWN 2.
C&K Construction is your source for high-quality concrete and construction work in the Chippewa Valley. Established in 2014, C&K Construction in Chippewa Falls is a leading concrete contractor proud to serve Eau Claire, Altoona, Menominee, and surrounding areas. Specializing in concrete construction, excavating, flatwork poured walls, and much more, they're right for all of your concrete needs. Call C&K Construction in Chippewa Falls at 715-559-1335.
Menominee Eye Optical can help you see the world for the beautiful place it is. Doctors Nicholas and Marianne Comro provide comprehensive and emergency eye care for all, including pediatric and special needs patients. Whether it's examination for glasses to cataract or LASIK care, or diagnosis and management of macular degeneration, and so much more. In addition, Menominee Eye and Optical's experienced opticians will help guide you to the highest quality eyewear for the best value. That's Menominee Eye and Optical, 520 Wilson Avenue in Menominee, where they specialize in quality personalized care for you and your family.
Welcome back. 12:34 to go, second half, 47-40. Vikings in the lead now by 7. The Dunn-St. Croix champion Viking dance team will compete at the state meet in La Crosse Friday and Saturday. Remhill drives in for Boyceville. They fire a pass to Madison, almost too hard. Remhill there to get it back. Now dumped in the corner to Leiden, down underneath. Nice block by Russ Polkowski. And as Eli Weber was taking his shot, he stepped on the end line.
And by our unofficial count, that's 4 blocks for Polkowski tonight.
Fisher, free throw line right, inside Polkowski for a bucket. Colfax by 9, 49-40, 12 minutes remaining, second half. Down to Remhild, he comes back up from halfway down on the far side, out to Tegan Leiden. Into the corner to Leslie. Up out on the top of the key. Leslie to Leiden. And trying to get it into Weber, it's knocked back to Remhild. Weber being guarded over there by Nichols. Madison doesn't have a shot. Now they got to go back out on top to Remhild. Colfax has things pretty bottled up here for the Bulldogs. And Orion Nichols reached in on Eli Weber. That is his second foul.
Vikings are doing a really good job of shutting down the paint area and not giving Madison a chance to even think about getting a shot off.
Remhild up on top to Leslie between the two wheels, out to Weber. Leslie looks back to Weber, down inside to Madison. Madison hands it off to Weber. Weber tries to go up. And the foul's going to be called on Russell Polkowski. That's his second.
He was kind of surprised. I think he thought he got all ball on that.
Eli Weber on the free throw line for the Bulldogs. He'll shoot 2. 11:01 to go in the second half. First one's good. The Dunn-St. Croix Honors Choir and Band performance will be held here in Colfax on Saturday at 1:30. Second free throw bounces out, rebounded by Orion Nichols. Up the floor, Abdi. Polkowski now on the other side to Fisher. Fisher feeding Polkowski. Polkowski tried a dunk, but overshot the hoop. Leiden driving in. Polkowski puts a paw up, and the shot is missed. Back out to Nichols. Nichols going up. And we're going to have a foul called on Boyceville's Landon Leslie.
Check that. They called that foul on Eli Weber.
Okay, that's his third. Orion Nichols shooting for the Vikings. Join us tomorrow on NLWN TV. We'll have the Viking girls hosting the Elk Mound Mounders in a critical Dunn-St. Croix Conference matchup. Coverage begins with Viking pregame at 6:40. Second free throw good. NLWN TV. Live play-by-play follows.
Ryan Nichols is 4 for 5 from the line.
Weber back to Madison. Madison looking to throw in the middle, nobody there. Leslie out on top to Rydell. Trying to break down there is Weber. Now they get it to Remhild. He's cut off. Madison back to Weber. They'll start it all over in the middle with Rydell. And we'll have another foul, this one on Orion Nichols. That is his third. So the Vikings racking up some fouls here. They have 7 in this half. Several players with 3 fouls, and Owen Rydell goes to the free throw line.
In fact, that's the third on Nichols this half.
Shot missed, tipped around, and it's tapped to Nichols. Nichols to Larson, back to Hovde to set it up across the center jump circle. Nichols into Larson. Larson back to Nichols. Nichols three-pointer. Bangs around, no. Hovde comes up with a rebound. Fisher they're trying to get the pass to him, and it flew by him.
Yeah, I think he and Ryan Nichols were kind of right next to each other, and they each thought the other was going to catch it, and it went right between them without touching anybody.
Bulldogs with the ball. Carson Remhild now crossing the center circle. Hovde guarding him. Big size mismatch there, or height mismatch. And that ball, Leslie has to fire it all the way to the other side to Riddell. He goes up. And a foul's going to be called on Russell Polkowski. That's Russell's third foul. So there are a bunch of Vikings with 3 fouls. That's going to put Owen Riddell on the free throw line. Boyceville 41, Colfax 51. Riddell, second one, that one goes in, and it's a 9-point Colfax lead. Approaching the 9-minute mark, Hovde makes a pass, it hits Trey Larson's feet and goes out of bounds. Bulldogs to bring it in. Leslie to Weber to Madison. Back in the middle to Riddell. Leslie now up on the left wing. Fires it over to Weber. Trying to get in from the corner, Riddell. That ball gets loose. And coming up with it is Schwartz. Schwartz waits, feeds it back to Fisher. Fisher waits. He's fouled and makes the basket. 53-42, Colfax by 11. Aiden Fisher with a free throw, and that's foul number 4 for John Madison. Free throw miss, rebound Schwartz. That doesn't go in, rebounded by Madison. Out to Leslie, down in the near corner, Weber, outside the arch, Riddell, 3 missed, bounces off big. Madison gets it, Schwartz trying to steal it away, knocked down, Riddell goes up for the layup, miss, rebounded by Trey Larson. To Hovde, up the floor to Fisher, Fisher out in the corner, Polkowski, 3! And Boyceville wants a full timeout. 7:57 to go in the second quarter, or second half. 56-42, Colfax. You're watching Viking basketball on NLWN TV.
January is Financial Wellness Month. Weight loss and physical fitness are common New Year's resolutions, but your finances could probably stand to be leaner as well. Dairy State Bank will post tips all month on Facebook and Twitter to help you get your finances in shape. You can also access a library of information anytime in our online education center. Visit DairyStateBank.com and click on the Education Center under the Resources tab. Dairy State Bank, banking on relationships. Member FDIC.
If your estate isn't looking quite estate-like, let Midwest Environmental Consultants landscape your estate right up to snuff with installation of retaining walls, brick patios, foundation planting beds, and so much more. Then they'll keep it that way with their expert lawn care service. Call Midwest Environmental Consultants at 608-468-2067. Let Midwest Environmental Consultants help make your estate the showplace of the neighborhood.
The boys are back in action Tuesday night on the second half of a girls then boys doubleheader. They'll host the Spring Valley Cardinals. And the pregame for that will start in between games around 6:40, 6:45. Girls host Elmwood Plum City before that. Girls have a game tomorrow night with Elk Mound. Boyceville with the ball. Ramhill driving in on Hovde. Out to Leslie. Leslie three-pointer missed. Rebounded by Logan Schwartz. Schwartz makes another pass that flies directly out of bounds. It's about the third one of those that has, well, the second for sure, that just went right out.
He was looking for Theo Hovde, and Hovde was waiting for the ball, and Schwartz thought he was going to break down the floor a little bit and misled him in more ways than one.
Leiden over to Riddell. Riddell to Weber. Weber up, missed, rebounded by Aiden Fisher. Fisher's going to hold back, give it to Hovde, pass it across the timeline, back to Hovde from Larson. Back to Polkowski, fires it into Fisher, out to Hovde. 7 minutes left, second half. Hovde fires to Polkowski, back to Larson. Larson bounces it into Fisher. Polkowski inside, Schwartz goes up off the glass, too hard, fights for the rebound, has it knocked out of bounds by Carson Remhild, so the Vikings keep it.
Schwartz is just having a tough time underneath there, putting the ball up. He's seeing good shots. They're just not dropping for him.
Hovde gets the inbounds throw. Colfax by 14 now. Polkowski to Fisher from Hovde. Fisher for two. 16-point Colfax lead, 58-42, 6:22.
That's 13 points for Fisher tonight.
Up on top, Riddell to Remhild. Back out to Weber. Riddell will start it all over again. Leiden back to Riddell, driving in. Shot goes over, misses everything. And looks like one of the Vikings, when they touched the ball, were on the end line, so Boyceville's going to keep it.
Yeah, Polkowski hadn't established himself inbounds before he touched the ball.
Inbounds Remhild to Leslie from the free throw line. Leiden missed, reload that missed. Tip back up, loose ball to Larson. And Larson passes it to Fisher. It bounces off his back out of bounds, and another turnover. And we have a timeout on the floor. 5:47 to go, second half. Colfax 58, Boyceville 42. You're watching Viking Boys Basketball on NLWN 2.
NLWN 2 is once again excited to be your host for Colfax High School Boys Basketball throughout the 2024 through 2025 season.
This is what we came in for!
Our next game will be on Tuesday, February 4th, when the Vikings play host to the Spring Valley Cardinals. This will be part 2 of a girls then boys doubleheader. Coverage begins with Viking pregame shortly following the Viking girls game with Elmwood Plum City. That's live Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on Tuesday, February 4th on NLWN 2 and NLWN TV.
Even though it's winter, baseball is just around the corner. And the Northern Light Webcasting Network is excited to bring you Colfax High School Baseball, followed by Eau Claire Cavalier Baseball. So stick with us all spring and summer long for America's game on the Northern Light Webcasting Network.
Boyceville with the ball back, 5:47 to go, second half. Thrown into Remhild. Remhild out to Leslie. Leslie coming up from the corner to Riddell. Riddell looks at a three ball, he'll drive in. Goes up with Logan Schwartz's arm in front of his face, and a foul is going to be charged to Logan Schwartz. That's his second. Owen Riddell on the free throw line. Riddell, a 6-foot junior guard. First one is good. Tomorrow night, the Viking girls host the Elk Mound Mounders here in a critical Dunn-St. Croix Conference matchup. Coverage on NLWN TV starts with Viking pregame at 6:40. Shot missed, play-by-play follows, and that's going to go off Hovde, they say. Five and a half minutes to go, second half, 58-43. Viking fans having a conversation with the official in the corner there. Remhild out to Leiden. Leiden inside, loose ball goes right to Orion Nichols. Across the timeline, Theo Hovde. Hovde out to Nichols. Nichols goes up left side of the basket. Drops it in and draws a foul.
That's 20 points for Orion Nichols tonight.
Second foul for Landon Leslie. 3 ticks away from 5 minutes left in the second half. Free throw miss, trying to get it were both Schwartz and Polkowski. Didn't happen. From the corner for 3. Back iron Boyceville, no good. Rebounded Fisher. Fisher to Hovde. Hovde out to Schwartz. To Fisher. And we're going to have a foul called away from the ball on Logan Schwartz.
That's 3 on Logan.
And that is the 10th foul. Double bonus now for the Bulldogs on any fouls.
Boyceville only has 4 fouls.
Nichols picks it off. Colfax with the ball back and a 17-point lead. Nichols to Hovde, or I'm sorry, that's Fisher fighting for the ball. A jump ball call is going to go back, possession Colfax. Nichols into Polkowski, back to Nichols. Nichols up from 5, good! Russell Polkowski ready to knock it back in if it came out. 19-point lead for the Vikings. Back out to Remhild. Remhild to Leslie. Down in the corner, Remhild, 3 for Boyceville. 9 points for Carson Remhild. Theo Hovde up top, fires to Fisher. Inside to Nichols, to Schwartz. Nichols outside will go and lose the ball. And that pass knocked down by Fisher. Fisher gets it back from Schwartz. Fisher up, missed, reload, good. 64-46, Colfax, 15 points for Aiden Fisher. Carson Remhild out to Tegan Leiden from the corner. Boyceville 3 for Owen Rydell. Rydell has 11 for Boyceville. 3 minutes remaining in the game. Boyceville up 64, or Colfax up 64-49. Polkowski from the corner, up from 10, good.
12 points for Russell tonight.
Trey Larson, top of the key. No, sorry, that's Tegan Leiden. Wrong 3. No 3 anyway. Ball goes out of bounds. And some sort of a conversation going on down there.
I think they were just checking to make sure Aiden Fisher was okay.
Polkowski is fouled on the way in, and he is fouled by Boyceville's Tegan Leiden. That is his second.
And Boyceville still has another foul to give.
Bounced into Hovney. Hovney fires it off to Fisher. And Nick Height with a questioned look on his face as that foul called right in front of him. That is the 4th for Aiden Fisher. Carson Remhild out to Riddell, down underneath. Knocked down by Nichols. Nichols to Hovney. 2 minutes left in the ball game. Colfax 66, Boyceville 49. Hovney between the circles, out to Nichols. Down in the corner, it ends up to Hovney, and he'll bring it back out. Colfax
Vikings
is going to
no rush.
Nope. Hovney in the corner to Polkowski, end to Fisher. Bounces it back to Hovney.
Minute and a half.
And Hovney has a reach-in foul from Landon Leslie of the Bulldogs. That's his 3rd.
And Boyceville is emptying the bench, as are the Vikings.
66-49, Colfax leading Boyceville. So in there, Moretu Emsch, number 10, Isaiah Ensminger, number 15, Nate Edwards, 34, Levi Elwood, 40, and Hunter Roberts, 21. I think I got everybody for the Vikings. Elwood, three-pointer missed, rebounded by Isaac Williams of the Bulldogs. He's a junior. Isaac Williams in with Nate Jensen. Eli Weber still in for the Bulldogs. He's a freshman. Tossed it out to Dominic Anderson. Pass too hard, ball got loose. Emsch comes up with a rebound for Colfax. Emsch looks at a 3-ball. He'll fire it to Edwards. Back in the middle to Elwood. Near corner, Emsch.
Smiled at the crowd.
Ball got loose, and it's going back to the Bulldogs to Blaine Severson. Nate Jensen misses the 3-pointer. Coming up with it is Levi Elwood. He waves off everybody. Down on the right side goes to Hunter Roberts.
Under 20.
Nate Edwards. Give and go to Ensminger. Back over to Hunter Roberts, who is just going to dribble it out in front of the Colfax bench. And we will end up with a Colfax 66-49 win over the Boyceville Bulldogs. So it was a 34-14 second half with the Vikings 34-14 outscoring Boyceville. JVers won 41-18. Stay tuned for our post-game show. That's coming your way next here on NLWN 2.
NLWN TV is once again excited to be your host for Colfax High School girls basketball throughout the 2024 through 2025 season. Our next girls Vikings game will be on Friday, January 31st, when the Vikings take on the Elk Mound Mounders from Colfax High School. Coverage begins with Viking pregame at 6:40 p.m. with live play-by-play to follow. That's live Colfax Viking girls basketball on Friday, January 31st on NLWN TV.
You need some help?
Your tow chains are a little loose. Could spark a wildfire. I could show you how to secure them properly if you'd like.
Sure. Thanks a lot.
Anytime. You should check out SmokeyBear.com. They've got a bunch of tips on wildfire prevention.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
You have been tuned to Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2. This copyrighted production of the Northern Light Webcasting Network and Colfax High School is intended for the enjoyment of the viewing and listening audience. Any broadcast, rebroadcast, or reproduction in part or in whole in any form without the express written consent of the Northern Light Webcasting Network LLC and Colfax High School is prohibited. Stay tuned. Coming up next is Viking Postgame with a look back at today's game.
In November of 2018, our daughter Jana passed away. The outpouring of support was unbelievable. Support that we received inspired us to start a foundation called the Jana Kelly Memorial Foundation. And through that foundation,
we've given back in a lot of different ways, through projects, through different other charities that we've supported. We like to help Humane Association, and the Ronald McDonald House is something that's very near and dear to us. We've also recently, this last year, we actually built a tiny house. It's really exciting to be able to give back in different ways.
to learn more or to help financially, would find us on Facebook or www.janakelly.com.
Time now for Viking Postgame, a wrap-up of today's Colfax Viking Boys game. And now, Viking Postgame.
Colfax boys outscored Boyceville 34-14 in the second half to come from a 3-point halftime deficit and win 66-49. Vikings now 4-3 in the Dunn-St. Croix, 5-9 overall. Boyceville 2-5 in the league, 3-11 overall. Rick, let's take a look at the scoring. 66-49 Colfax.
And as we look at it, we'll take a look at Boyceville first. They were led by Owen Rydell and Eli Weber. They each had 11 points. Rydell kind of caught fire in the second half. Then came Carson Romehill with 9 and John Madison with 8, along with Landon Leslie with 8 points. For the Vikings, they were led by Orion Nichols, who had 22 points. Then came Aiden Fisher with 15. Russell Pekowski, after a slow start in the first half, came alive in the second half and picked up 12 points. Then Theo Hovde and Charlie Charbonneau each had 7, and Trey Larson had 3. And I believe we have Coach Nick Height joining us.
Nick, tale of two halves.
Yeah, we showed up to defend finally in the second half. I thought they had some role players that made some shots in the first half that probably didn't go in the second. They got some offensive rebounds deep, but giving up 14 points and a half, you're going to win a lot of basketball games. And I think they had 7 points in the second half with about 5 minutes to go. Offensively, we were a little more patient, got a lot better looks, and that's what we've been talking about. That inconsistency in the first half, you dig yourself a hole. It's tough to come out of that sometimes. So proud of our guys at the fight of the second half. I think we made good adjustments at halftime. Showed up ready to go in the second half.
What were some of those adjustments that you needed to make?
Well, I just think, with Madison playing off, we set some flex screens down low that freed up Russell early. And then, obviously kind of coming off some of our curl action, some split staggers, which was really nice to get some open looks with that. I think we were a little more patient, and we said that if we can make 5 passes before, we shoot, the driving lanes become a lot more open instead of a 1 pass into a drive. So I thought we did that a lot better in the second half. I think part of it was our defensive energy as well. And I told the guys at halftime, when we talk and do those right things on the defensive end, we're just that much better. So we just have to be consistent in that area.
And it's consistency with the basics,
Yeah. Oh, yeah, especially with some outlet passes. We need to work on that clearly. So, turnovers kind of towards the end, just unforced, but that stuff just later on, that's just so important. That's really important when you're playing, teams in the top of the league. So looking forward to next week. It's going to be a really big week for us. 2 of the top teams come in the league, and then a really good Ellsworth team on Saturday. So it's going to be a really important week for us to kind of get after it.
Yeah, now in the second half of the conference, playing teams twice. This was the second with Boyceville. You won both. Spring Valley here on Tuesday night, and they're a very good team.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, Cade is, arguably, if not the best player in the league. It was a tough one down there. Russell got into 3 fouls early in that first half. Aiden wasn't feeling well, and now we have Logan back. So, I really think it's going to be, we can come in and battle and compete with Spring Valley, and hopefully we can finally knock one off.
Okay, Nick, thanks for talking with us. Congratulations,
thanks, guys,
on another great win. Thanks, you too. That's Nick Height, the head coach of the Colfax Vikings. Let's see. Do you need to finish up the scoring, Rick?
Well, no,
Okay.
We got all the scoring in.
Okay.
One of the things I was going to say, though, Jay, is I was very impressed with the Viking bigs in the second half, both defensively, both Pekowski and Schwartz. I had Pekowski unofficially with 5 blocks tonight, and even if he didn't get a block, his hand was in the face.
Yeah.
And John Madison had nowhere to go with the ball. And, yeah, he got 8 points, but he averages usually right around 12. And so they did a nice job of keeping him under control. And I kind of chuckled to myself. There was a time he got the ball on the low post, and he pivoted one way, and there was Pekowski in his face. So he pivots back the other way, think he's going to go to the glass, and there's Schwartz in his face. And so he had nowhere to go, and it was really impressive to see those guys play off each other like they did.
Yeah, and I noticed that with Russell, that he's getting that experience and that confidence to cause a lot of problems for opponents down underneath.
And as often as we talk about the bigs, we should talk about the littles too. Both Theo Hovde and Trey Larson, I am consistently amazed at how they're willing to go out and battle with the big guys and go up and challenge for rebounds with the big guys. And they're successful at it.
They come out with a lot of them. Yep. So the Vikings the boys will host Spring Valley in a 7:15 game on Tuesday that you can see here on NLWN 2 and NLWN TV. I think that they're going
to be on both, yes.
But tomorrow night the girls host Elk Mound, and that's going to be a crucial one for them.
In fact, yes, that's going to be a really big game because that's a conference game, and Elk Mound is the undefeated conference leader. And then turning right around on Monday, the girls are stepping up and playing Division II River Falls over in River Falls before they get the first half of that doubleheader. So they're going to have their hands full, too.
Yep, going to be quite a week for Colfax basketball, and we hope that you'll join us for that if you can't be there in person. Tonight's Colfax High School basketball game is brought to you by Dairy State Bank, where they're banking on relationships. Midwest Environmental Consultants, soil testers for Western Wisconsin. Anderson Bridges, who have been manufacturing prefabricated steel truss bridges since 1989. Slayton's Technology, IT provider for the Northern Light Webcasting Network. Menominee Eye and Optical, with quality personalized care for you and your family. C&K Construction, concrete experts for the Chippewa Valley. And Mom's Restaurant and Pub in Colfax, comfort food the way Mom used to make it. We hope you'll thank these fine sponsors soon by doing some business with them. They bring you Colfax Viking basketball here on NLWN 2. For our videographer, Chris Olson, and executive producer, Rick Olson, I'm Jay Fall. Thanks a lot for joining us. Good night.
You've been listening to Viking Postgame, a wrap-up of today's Colfax Viking Boys game. This has been a production of the Northern Light Webcasting Network.